tube.
Hello and welcome back to your midweek addiction. That's right, it's the Game Huggers weekly podcast. Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. here on the Game Huggers YouTube channel. We are here. We're live in the basement of JPD Studios. I'm just kidding. I'm actually not in the basement. My basement's kind of stinky. But we have a panel of experts, a panel of amazing guys, and we're going to sit and talk about amazing things. Most notably, this week we're going to talk about the super awesome Dreamcast 2. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and start with right from the top of the line. Hope, welcome back to the Game Huggers podcast.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing
we're absolutely fantastic. How about you, Ope?
Long-time lurker, first-time caller.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. All right, Sarumaru, welcome back, sir. It's been a while since we've had you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, it has. It's been forever. You've been on hiatus for a long time, and then the last few that you did, I had people visiting, so.
Was that family that were over?
Sad. No, this is well, she's kind of like family. I used to live with her when I lived in Australia, so she comes every September to visit, and so she stays for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Dragon Master Darn, you're back again.
Done.
I am, and I'm here this week, and we're ready to talk about exciting things.
And also our good friend Tweak. Tweak, thank you so much for being on. I apologize in advance for the behavior of everyone else.
Hey,
You're
no
so well
problem.
behaved.
I was promised that this would be a robe special, and I feel like I was a little lied to.
Whoa, a lot lied to, actually.
A lot lied to is fair. You know, I mean, I don't expect anything from Opie.
The truth is a mystery.
He's let me down so much before, but the rest of you have no excuse.
I have a good excuse.
Yeah, but you don't need one, man. We're good.
No, I don't need one.
We're good.
Everyone's good with Hope. Hope you're good. Unless it's Geo. Geo's not good with you, but everyone else is good with you.
Hey, man. Some people never change it.
All right, so Saru and Ope are on for the first time in a while. So why don't we start with you two and talk about any recent pickups or any games that you guys are playing or anything like that you want to share with the rest of the Game Huggers community.
You guys already talked about it, but
Because he's been. Whoa.
What's that?
Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest 11.
Wow, another Dragon Quest guy.
Yeah.
Big shock. So literally everyone in the group has Dragon Quest 11.
I don't.
Yeah, but only Dan's beat it, right?
No,
Hey,
Dan's
finished
Hey,
it.
that's
Sweet
minorly offensive.
Maybe I'm the only one who doesn't have it.
What?
You don't
Yeah.
have it?
I do not.
Dude, can you blame him? There's no like freaking cartoon catsuit girls. Of course he
Nope.
There
There's
are
no-
actually.
Really?
No, but
I
it's
may
not,
have to reconsider.
it's not on the cover, so it's not going to catch his eye in the store.
That's true.
That's true.
Oh. So, Saru, you really don't do turn-based RPGs, though, do you?
No, I don't. Not really. There are very few. Lunar and Cosmic Fantasy, and that's pretty much it.
What other asshole on this podcast said Lunar last week? I was thrown off by that.
Lunar.
Lunar. It's Lunar. I don't even know how to say it anymore. No, I can't even say it.
The best part is that California accent that you would hear in the working design stuff would be like, "Oh no, Lunar." So that's how they say it in the game.
Lunar.
They're
Silver
wrong.
Star Story. Lunar.
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 Lunars.
Lunar. That sounds so
Well,
weird.
in Japanese, it's Luna. So in English, it would be Lunar.
Is that like Linkle Liver Story?
Linkle. What is a linkle?
Wrinkle Liver Story.
The liver.
I
Wrinkle
think they
Liver.
meant river, right?
It's
I'm
supposed to be
guessing.
wrinkle. You know, like a wrinkle.
It's
you
like
know.
Wrinkle River, maybe?
It was supposed to be
that's
Wrinkle River.
And they were like, Rinkuru Liba.
No, wasn't Linkle that version of Link in Hyrule Warriors? It was the chick.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
I
it
feel
was.
like it was.
Yeah.
I think you were correct.
All right. Sorry, what's new with you, sir? New games, new
New games,
stories, new things. What are you working on? I mean, you do have a game that just came out, didn't you? Don't you, or something like that? Don't you have a version that's
EP2.
Yeah, the Genesis version of FX Unit Yuki is like right around the corner now. Probably the end of the month.
Of which month?
This month. Oh, I'm
Shit,
sorry.
That's this week,
No.
dude.
Sorry. The end of October.
Okay.
Yeah, end of October.
Okay. Good.
We'll have a
Pick that up.
Genesis version of Yuki. But yeah, I picked up all sorts of Switch stuff, man. I've been like
Yeah.
all up on the Switch. These are my recent pickups, but I have so many Switch games now. It's ridiculous.
Don't
Like
eat it.
this game here,
We're okay. We're gonna Fallen Legion.
Legion, which is kind of like what is that game I'm thinking of? Valkyrie Profile. It's kind of like Valkyrie Profile.
Really?
And then I got this one, Coda Princess EX. This one is a lot like Guardian Heroes, and one of the guys from Guardian Heroes actually worked on it.
Holy
So,
shit!
Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. Then from the same company that released that game, I bought Blade Strangers, which has the girl from Coda Princess EX as the main character. And this girl here, Umihara Kawase, she's had a bunch of games like Super Famicom. Do you know that game, Twick?
I do have that game.
Fishing pole.
I think I might actually have the manual for it around here somewhere.
Oh,
Is
Super Famicom.
that the fishing pole game?
There we go. The
That's
fishing
the
pole game.
Yes,
Yep.
What?
yes, that's the
Oh,
original.
wait. Hold that
one.
up again. Hold that up again. Is that the one?
It's the game with a grapple mechanic where you
Yes.
use a fishing pole.
That's
Yeah.
such a great game.
China
Such a
Commando
great
with,
game.
with a traveling sushi chef. Then I got the Crash Collection.
Nice.
Trash collection. Trash Bandicoot.
Collection. Some random Toho game I got for $10.
Oh,
You should- Listen, just because they have toes doesn't mean you should call them that.
Hotos. And then I got Shenmue, which I haven't even opened yet, and who knows if I ever will.
Shenmue 1 and 2. Wow.
And then I got Laserdisc stuff.
Laserdisc.
Samurai Showdown, something or another. It's like
Is
a
that a
big
movie? Is that the movie? Or?
No,
No,
it's just
It's
games footage.
people, yeah, it's people doing like an
It's
extra
not
live
way.
action.
Yeah, that's
You
how
can
Right.
learn how to waste tokens.
All of them are like that, but this one isn't. This one actually it has gameplay of people playing, but they made it like a drama, like one of those like game drama things.
I've got the first one of that, not the first Samurai Spirits game, and it's pretty similar. And because they did a lot of them with like Street Fighter, and I think a lot of fighting games.
Yeah, they do like random like voice acting and stuff. And then this is kind of game related. It's Psychic Force, the animes.
2012.
I'm a big Psychic Force fan. And then I got Vajra for
Vagina.
Active. Vagina.
Vagina. I got that.
This one? This
Yeah.
one's the cheaper one.
Retro 1 is definitely cheaper.
Dude, yeah, 2 is like $300. Who's got that kind of money? Who got
Nobody.
that kind of money?
Dude, I like know a
Doesn't
guy
matter,
who
though.
like brought Vajra like freaking 2 over here. Dude, the game was like freaking legit. He also brought over like freaking Time Gal over there. Dude,
Oh man,
dude,
Time Gal's another one that's like $300+. Is that Vajra too?
It is.
300 is
Vagina too.
way cheap for Time Gal.
No,
Is
he,
that- It could be.
That's a lot of
Doesn't
Laserdisc stuff.
I couldn't even play it though because I fried it. I bought the pack N1 and the
Fried it.
capacitors. Yeah, the capacitors were bad on it. So when I stuck it in and I powered on the unit, it fried a bunch of fuses on the laser active.
Yikes.
what were they?
The IC compare protectors in there.
Yeah, so if the tray wouldn't open, that got fixed, but now the lens doesn't like go up and down. So I don't know.
The
I don't know
focus.
what.
Where's
I have
Beamer
to
when you
get
need him?
one of those. He was the one who was helping me like troubleshoot it. So I need to get a multi-reader and like see if the lens is actually still like working. And if it's not, I gotta buy a new one.
Damn.
So shit.
Damn.
Damn,
sucks.
son.
Shit,
That's it.
son. Shit, son.
That is it for me.
That's awesome, dude. That's a lot of stuff. That's really cool.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to rub in Sar's face. It's a spare laser active laser.
Oh, what are you doing with that?
Damn.
It's
man.
actually
What are you
going.
doing with that?
It's actually going to X Element.
Bah.
He had one for
It's
one
not
of.
a Pico laser. He doesn't want it.
It's going to Fort Pico.
You know, Sarumaru was just incredibly disappointed because you're like, yeah, before the chat or before the show started, you're like, I'm going to rub something in your face on the podcast. And now he's extremely disappointed.
Look, I'll tell him the same thing I tell everybody else. If he wants to see that, he's got to hit me up on my Neo Geo PM box.
Why there?
Because it's the only place they'll let me send shit like that.
Post on the wall.
Nobody pays attention to that place anymore.
Uh-oh.
The place we dare not speak of.
Trigger warning.
Spoilers.
Triggered.
I'm triggered. Diabetes intensifies.
Dude, diabetes is no joke, man.
Diabetes.
I know, man. All right, so topics of the week. We each came up with really great ideas on things to talk about. All of us, as a collective. Dan's like, what?
That's a damn
I
lie.
don't know about it really great. It's like,
All right, so I want to talk about the Dreamcast 2. I
You
want
say-
to talk about the potential of the Dreamcast 2 and why.
Are you
it was-
serious about that? I thought that was
So
like
it's
a
not real?
joke
It's just
topic.
speculation?
Well, hey, man, it's been speculation for like 1,000 years. So
It's never gonna happen. There's
It
no
belongs in a museum.
why is it never going to happen?
As long as we can get a Menace or two with the Dreamcast, I'm okay with it.
Because Sega
They're
has
terrible.
no interest in making hardware.
What if the mini Genesis thing that they're apparently going to do on their own or with some
That-
other team is really successful?
Well, they were actually going to contract at Games to do it.
No!
And, yeah,
And then they
fired
threw up on each other.
they fired him just
Yeah, then
recently.
they said we're not letting them do that because they do an absolutely terrible
They've already
job of
shit on
everything.
everything else.
did you know that At Games originally had an SH in front of the name and they dropped it?
Shat Games.
They
Didn't
should
they do it?
never,
Didn't they make
should
a,
never have dropped that because
Pippin?
they made the Atari that sold, down the street in my local Rite Aid, and it's pretty
It's
terrible.
decent. But no, it's
Would you say it'll give you right aids?
Why would you say the
I
Ataris
don't know
were
if I'd go
bad?
that far, but no, the At Games Atari is bad. I have my 2600 still because it was the first console.
Are those? Oh
bad.
yeah,
I
sure.
love it.
I mean,
But
are the flashbacks, those Atari flashbacks, were those at games?
yeah,
Not-
that
not
was
a
an
real-
Yeah,
Those aren't bad.
Newer
They
ones,
were terrible.
newer ones
The first-
are.
The first
They're-
ones were At Games, and then I think the second run was made by somebody else.
but yeah, I don't think
Anything
it's gonna happen. I don't think a Dreamcast 2 is ever gonna happen.
What about Dreamcast 3?
I just don't.
I mean,
Nintendo
the-
4.
Wasn't the original Xbox pretty much Dreamcast 2?
I mean, we had a
Pretty
little bit of a
much.
conversation about this, and there was some intent early on Microsoft's part as they were deciding what they wanted to do with the Xbox to potentially have backwards compatibility. But when they went in the direction of we're going to use just a regular PC architecture, and in fact, an off-the-shelf Celeron 733 and an
Memory
N-Force,
processor.
they got to a point where they would not be able to build in backwards compatibility without some sort of emulation, and it would have been way too much work and too much hassle
many
for a
excuses.
system that nobody bought.
I didn't buy it.
Agreed.
I mean, even the Sega Chihiro in the arcades was based on the Xbox arcade.
It was.
Was
The
that Outrun? Outrun 2 was on that?
Virtual Cop 3, there was a few things on it, yeah.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast. Like Space Ghost.
I mean, it would be cool. It would be cool to have a new Sega system, like a legit
Man,
system.
we're shitting on Josh's dream here, man.
I-
No,
I-
no, no. I want. I want
on.
Wasn't there a second model Pico that came out in the 2000s?
Though
The Pico Mini.
Sega is making new arcade hardware. So
You talking about like ring edge, ring wide stuff?
no, they're making some racing. They just they made it already. I don't remember which.
They
which
made
race-
it?
Some Sega Championship rally type thing.
Damn.
Look at all these CD-ROMs.
They're not yellow. Why are they not yellow?
Why?
This one's white. The other two are like super. Like check out this one.
Is it piss yellow? Oh yeah.
It's there.
And then this one is like medium yellow.
It's
And I
like
just
cheddar.
unplugged my audio and I can't hear what the fuck. it
Cheddar
is.
go.
And this one is a white one. This one is mine. The other ones I'm repairing.
It's whitewashed.
Okay, why don't we all just take a moment here to think?
I thought you were going to say get along.
No, I
Can
mean,
we all just get along?
we already
Come
know.
on, Huggy Bear. Huggy Bear. Come on.
Um,
man. DC2. What's up?
Oh,
I'm gonna share the game huggers.
Dude,
why do you think Why do you think there'd be a possibility that the Sega Dreamcast 2 could happen? And if it did, how would it be successful? What would they have to do to make it a success?
I mean,
So I think the Sega Dreamcast 2 is the kind of thing that could come out if they were to develop a classic style system in the way that we're referring to with the upcoming PlayStation Classic, where they were able to emulate or create some sort of a FPGA that was properly able to copy the Dreamcast hardware, load a bunch of ISOs onto it, and possibly come up with some sort of a downloadable service to let people add games to it and sell it that way. They would not produce any sort of a successor console in the sense we're thinking, unless they went in the direction of a micro console, which at least for the time being is out of style. As this generation gets closer and closer to the end of its generation, I think you'll start to see $100 optical driveless systems pop up again, like we had with the Ouya and the Game Stick and a whole lot of the Forge. There was a whole bunch of these that popped up right as the PS3 and Xbox 360 were fading into the land of death. And as the PS4 and Xbox One were coming on the market, you had a whole flood of micro consoles. I think you'll see that again. I don't think it's impossible that you might see a Sega-branded micro console that's using the same Android architecture as every other micro console on the market, but I don't think the Sega name alone would be enough to salvage it, especially since I'm sure all of the other Android-based micro consoles would have Sega games on them as well, because they're presumably going to be using one platform as everyone else was.
I think I agree with you in the fact that we're going to see those optical drive-less systems, because I know Microsoft's already insistent on pushing that for next gen as well, where they're like, they basically just want you to buy games from them, from the cloud, not have any discs and all that stuff. But I mean, I don't know if Sega even wants to make hardware anymore. They seem...
I don't think they do.
I perfectly fine making games for everyone else.
Yeah, I don't think Sega themselves are going to be making any hardware. Now, will there be Sega branded hardware in the way that somebody licensed the Coleco name for the Chameleon that almost came out, or how we have all of these at games or Shat games, Genesis 3s, where someone licenses the name? That's possible, and that may be where you wind up seeing, that's right, it's the Sega Dreamcaster. Or something along those lines. That's a micro console that'll be like every other micro console that'll hit the market. And I think there will be a bigger market for those in the future. As far as specifically what Connor was touching on, which is the optical driveless systems, I'm sure if Microsoft does another console, which I'm not convinced they will, I think they're just going to go for a PC marketplace built around the Xbox branding in the future and let other companies sell gaming PCs with an Xbox branding on them as well. That's what I suspect is going to be the case. I do think that you're going to have a future where, okay, it's a $100 micro console. It's much cheaper than the high-end gaming PC or the PlayStation 5 will be.
PlayStation 5. That just sounds silly.
What? Well, no, but I'm actually serious about this. The $100 console that can play the newest Call of Duty and Madden, and those games will be available as a download through an Android store or some sort of a proprietary but similar shop. That system will have the potential for being... Well, that's exactly right. I mean, I don't know that the Steam box is going to be it, but I think
something similar
to that, except it would be Steam for ARM devices or whatever architecture is popular on these cheap micro consoles.
Has anyone checked in the chat, by the way?
Yeah, I am. I'm chatting in there. I'm chatting.
The Ouya was ahead of its time, wasn't it, Dan?
I love the Ouya. Ouya's awesome.
I think the Ouya as a business model was too far ahead of its time and doomed to fail. I think the Ouya as a gadget was great. I don't think the business model is entirely flawed. The problem with the Ouya was the software that you would buy on it were mostly things that you could just play on a frickin' phone. When you have AAA level games,
Angry Birds,
when you have Madden and Call of Duty ready to be run on micro consoles, and that day will come, that is when you'll be able to elevate the platform of something like that to genuinely competing with the PlayStation 5 and I'm actually serious about this. I think that day will come, and I know you get a kick out of every time I say PlayStation 5, so we're just going to continue to bring it up.
Like that PS5, huh?
Yeah, you know, the PlayStation 5, you know, they're
You think they're going to ditch physical media?
Are you asking Sony, or are you
I'm
asking
GameStop?
Yeah, I'm asking you guys. Do you think
I think in general, yes.
I think they want to. I think they really want to get away from that because that's going to cost them a lot less money to do stuff like that.
Sure, you're cutting retailers, you're cutting the used market out of the business right away. You're cutting out having to deal with brick and mortar stores. Yes, GameStop being used media and a brick and mortar retailer, and more importantly, you're selling directly to the public. Thus, you're cutting out a middleman in receiving more money in turn for your product. And whoever owns and operates the digital store that runs that will be the one that creates the rules and reaps the most profits, which will generally be the platform holders.
Yeah, it'll be
Nintendo,
Live, it'll
Steam,
be
Xbox Live,
Online, PSN.
Exactly right. So, yes, absolutely, they want to cut out physical media, but it's going to be harder than it sounds. For example, there's someone who does not watch the show, but like all of us know this guy, and he lives out in like the middle of frickin' nowhere. Dude, and like his internet is so bad, he's got to watch like midget porn to save on bandwidth.
Who is that? Do I know that guy?
Does he possibly use a phone instead of a normal PC like anyone else?
Yeah, he's not talking about Necromancer. He's talking about our good friend,
our other
Georgie.
So, does he have that kind of accent? I never heard him talk before.
Wicked awesome. Yeah, he does. He's like.
So, like, Microsoft has expressed that they want to go that route. I don't know that Sony will with their next console. I don't think they will. Like, I know they want to, but I think they're still going to hold on to physical media. I don't know about Microsoft, but I'm pretty sure.
I think the backlash that they took over their used games thing last time kind of scared them off a little bit, especially with that always online thing too. So I'm hoping it was enough for them to think like, yeah, maybe this isn't the greatest idea to basically say fuck you to the people who buy our stuff.
Maybe, but they seem to make the decision and then decide to backpedal. But if they make the decision not to go with physical, then I mean, can they really backpedal from that? Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, unless you're talking about selling a separate add-on CD drive like the old days again.
Well, what I was going to mention is the other
sucks anyway.
The other big variable here is not just the infrastructure in the U.S., but for a company like Sony, the infrastructure in Japan. From my understanding, even though Japan has lots of fast internet everywhere, a lot of consumers, especially the aging Japanese population, don't have home high-speed internet. They're just using a cell phone or some other device that generally has restrictions tied to using it as a hotspot or something else. So the idea that
like rural
freaking Comcast
there, so
right, well, the idea that just anyone's going to be able to, in any part of the country, be able to download 8-gig game that regularly has 1 gigabyte patches, which is what some of the sports games and things that are already out have, just to be able to play it, I don't know is realistic with the current internet infrastructure or even the internet infrastructure 2-3 years from now.
Not, and especially with the next generation of consoles, I mean, you're going to have games with much more beefier graphics. That's in turn going to be a lot more heavier downloads. And Japan's a big fan of physical media too, so I really don't see, at least for the next PlayStation console, that they're going to go completely digital. I just don't see it.
Agreed. I think they're going to have a big storefront, and I think they're going to try to emphasize people who can to use their storefront and maybe even provide some sort of a discount or additional DLC over buying a physical copy, in turn buying physical media, at least in this market and in Europe, into a premium product, but I don't see them abandoning it entirely.
No.
All right.
I mean, and then I think the problem here is you got people like, you know, who live in very rural areas in the U.S. that don't have even anything close to like high-speed internet. If I want to update my, you know, stuff, my internet's not great, but it's not piss poor either, and it still takes like 45 minutes to get some of these like larger things installed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, we're talking full games are going to take a day.
Yeah.
Sounds like high-speed dial-up.
I mean, it basically is high-speed dial-up. It's the middle of a swamp, you know. What can you run to that?
So, okay, let's just do a speed round here. I'm going to ask a question of each of you, and you just say yes or no. They're yes or no questions. You ready? All right. Oh, will there be a Dreamcast 2?
I'll take the rapist for 300.
Rapist for 500.
Bill Cosby isn't here.
Bill he's in jail, man. That's sad. We're gonna lament about that. Dreamcast 2 is not going to be Bill
Sorry,
Cosby's
will there
favorite system.
be a Dreamcast?
Absolutely not. No way.
Dan?
Only if there is a portable version of it or a mini version.
Yes or no, Dan?
Not a successor.
Quit trying to Fox News this interview.
Also, blame the Democrats.
All right,
Yeah.
and Tweak?
DC
You know what?
Democrats.
Just so we have that one contrarian point, I'll say, yeah, I think they'll do something at some point, and it's because I really want them to. You know, as
But
much
you
as
you don't believe they will.
as much hate as I like to give Sega, you know, I would like to see them come back and fight Nintendo again.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, that was fun.
I think
That
there'll
whole
be
time
sort
was
of-
fun.
I think Sega will get back into hardware in some way or manner or form, or else what they'll do is they'll become exclusive to one of the big companies. That would be a big feather in whatever company that is. Their hat.
Yeah.
I mean, if that is Nintendo for whatever reason, I'm gonna have so much fun with X Element for about a week and a half.
Yeah, right.
Like, hey, remember all those fights in the '90s? Well, 20 years later, you done lost.
You done lost.
You
It,
done
just for
lost.
a
You
week
done
and a half.
That happened a long time ago.
Just a week and a half, though.
Just a week and a half. I
Pepperidge Farm
limit it a little
members.
bit, you know.
All right. So next, and we'll start with Saru here. Polymega. What are your thoughts on that? Why are we laughing?
I don't know why he's laughing. I'm actually excited. For
I
it,
sat on my
so-
balls. I'm sorry.
Oh.
So there's been a lot of things that have been uncovered about it lately, and it's sounding not quite as impressive as it initially had.
No.
You're still excited about it, though, huh?
I'm excited about it because whether it's an emulation console versus
Oh, it is.
FPGA, I mean, it's still something I can put in my living room and boot
Stare at.
CD games. You know, when friends are over or whatever, and they bring their Neo Geo CD games, right, or their freaking PC Engine PS1 games. That's a lot that gets played here.
But I can boot those on
But
a.
you got those systems.
Yeah, I
Well,
was
no,
gonna say,
you
you
can put
just-
those on an emulator
start
on the
off
original
free.
Xbox. if you want.
Whoa,
I know. So I
Let's
have
let the
these
man
systems.
speak.
They're all upstairs.
Let
They're
the
all
man
hooked
speak.
up to my recording stuff, and honestly, it's really a pain in the ass to get it all hooked up downstairs. I would rather, when people come over, just have one system that everybody
First
can
world
bring their
problems.
games and play. Like most people who play aren't even going to notice the difference between the fact that it's being emulated versus FPGA. I'm okay with it. I think I'm still excited over it. And yes, you can do the same thing on a Raspberry Pi and blah 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 and that whole story. But having a console that's just there, you can just shove your CDs in and
Shove it.
you're playing.
Shove
It's nice.
Well, but you're assuming they're going to deliver exactly what they've promised, and that's really where I have questions. So
Now,
one of the
what
first things
they
since-
promised was FPGA originally. That's what they promised, and
That's what they
they're not doing that anymore because it's becoming expensive for each module to go FPGA. So right now, as it stands, only one of the modules is going to be FPGA, and that's going to be the Famicom module. All the other ones
Isn't that one only a extended goal if they get a
That's
certain
like
amount of money?
Temptress.
It's not
They
even a
got the-
guarantee.
Well, they made it their goal for that.
Did they? Okay.
It's a stretch goal.
So let's go over this real quick here. One of the things you're assuming is that the emulation quality is going to be spot on exactly as they're describing it, and that's where I start to have questions. The
Well,
first reason is this:
So I know for a fact that the emulation on the consoles that I played it on was spot on. Like Neo Geo CD, spot on.
really easy to
PC
emulate.
Engine was spot on. I mean, they had
To do
FX
those
and
two
UFO
on an
running
original
it.
Xbox.
What
You
about the Saturn? Did you actually get
This
to
is-
see that? Because that's the one
No,
that's the one I'm
about
worried
the
about.
Saturn.
This was pre-Saturn, and I have doubts about how well the Saturn is going to run. I seriously doubt that the Saturn is going to run at 100%, and that's just being realistic.
Well, and
I seriously doubt that the Saturn is going to run at 75%.
They claim that it's going to be like this, this perfect Saturn emulation. It's like even a great PC struggles with the Saturn because of weird architecture.
Well, the fact that the emulators are not super properly optimized because of the weird architecture, the fact that the way games take advantage of the 2 GPUs and 2 CPUs can cause all sorts of weird inconsistencies. Even on Saturns themselves, there are games that don't run properly from revision to revision. So the expectation that this thing is going to, out of the box, be able to play all of your old console games flawlessly, especially with a system like the Saturn, is setting the expectations a little bit too high. Yes, for Famicom/NES, for TurboGrafx-16/PC Engine, for Genesis/Mega Drive, hopefully the audio will be good, but I don't anticipate too many problems.
It'll sound brown.
For Neo Geo CD, I don't anticipate many problems. But the reality of the situation is literally an OG Xbox can pretty flawlessly play Neo Geo CD games at a faster loading rate, getting around the slow loading times, and PC Engine CDs with the same types of features as this thing is promising. Now, I'm sure it'll have an even faster optical drive, but the question is really, are we wanting to pay $250 for that, a kind of weird-looking controller, and then individual modules for all these things? This is not that much different than a Retron or something along those lines, and these modules are just adding controller ports and cartridge ports.
Well,
I don't
and an
see the value
optical
of
drive.
Well, the optical drive you're paying for initially, though. So if I'm getting the PC Engine module, right, I'm basically paying $60 for a card port and a controller port.
Well, you technically, if you're using it for optical media, you don't need any of the modules. The system is standalone optical media. So
right.
If you buy just a standalone system, you can still play all your optical media. And for me, like, I don't need any of the freaking modules. I just want something I can stick CDs in. So I'd be fine with the base module.
PC Engine really is only handling cue cards then at that point.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Cue cards.
Yeah.
So
Hugh is
Who
Ricardo.
Who and Hugh.
Hukado.
Ricardo.
But I guess the other question then turns into, if you're just buying it for a base system that's easy to set up, why not download the CD beta software that's out there that'll pre-configure a bunch of emulators for you, and buy a cheap $130 PC and do that?
So I'm buying into the Polymega because I'm lazy as fuck. So like, I just want to buy something that's there. I don't want to tinker with shit. Like, I don't want to set anything up. However, a lot of other people will buy it for the same reason. Probably not because they're lazy, but because they can't configure that stuff. They don't want to screw with their Raspberry.
They don't deserve it, then. They don't deserve it.
They want just a console that they can play. And that's the audience that this is catering to.
We're assuming it's going to work as advertised. And that's the assumption.
If you look at all those mini systems that they've got, because it's like, this is something that you could do with a PC or a Raspberry Pi, or you have tons of options for this. But people still go out and buy it because they're like, I could plug it into my TV and just go.
And that's the audience that they want. So.
The question is, will it be able to even achieve that? That's kind of what I'm curious about.
Will it play Crysis? Can I play Crysis? No.
So,
damn it.
From what I've played, everything, not including the Saturn, plays pretty spot on. PS1, Neo Geo, PC Engine, and then all the other ones you don't even have to mention because anything can really emulate those.
Because they suck.
Because it's older stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you mentioned outside of the
Mega going to cost people
$250.
$250 for the base unit.
And $60 each for the modules that just add a cartridge slot and a controller
port.
Damn. Save your money.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, you don't have to get the modules. It'll work with pretty much any USB controller too.
Will they make bootleg modules so I can get for like half price?
Give China time.
Cheap China.
Yeah, I was going to say, give China a week. They'll work on it.
I mean, they have EverDrive now, don't they?
They're going to wait for this to come out, and Alibaba or whatever is going to.
They'll be the Polymega.
Super bigger.
It's terrible.
And
Freaking
then
China.
Josh is passed out.
No, I'm right
Shitting
here.
on our dreams.
All right, so here's another question. This is another question from chat. Now, think of your most obscure game console that you own.
Okay.
Now, what would be your favorite game from that obscure game
For
system?
my council,
Your game console.
my council.
Your most obscure system, and what would be your favorite game?
It's Mario Brothers on Nintendo. It's a hidden gem.
Nice. That is a hidden. It's a bit of a hidden gem. We've got
Yeah, no one's got it.
NES hidden gems. Yes.
Dig deep there, Metal Jesus.
Metal Jesus,
Dig
Metal
deep.
Beatus.
I guess I'm going to say that PCFX is probably my most obscure console.
Yeah,
And
that's a pretty obscure one.
Ooh,
Not so
look
much
at
in this
you.
group of people, but yeah, I think that's a good choice.
my favorite game is a game I can't afford.
This is the only one I got on PCFX left.
Dragon Knight 4.
Boobs.
That's all I got.
Anime boobs.
You know, if we're going with obscure, though, I think I can take this with Derby Stallion on the FM Towns.
Nice.
Oh, man.
Oh, I got some down. Oh, I got Down syndrome. Hold up.
Oh, yeah? You got some downs?
I've got Down syndrome.
I want a Marty. I'd like to get my hands on a Marty.
And a Steve and a Gary.
At the same time.
Whoa!
I would say, okay, here's one that's maybe not super obscure, but it's different. It's not one that I play very often, but it'd probably be one of my favorite handhelds ever, and that's the Neo Geo Pocket Color.
Yes.
And my favorite game on that would be Card Fighters Clash.
Oh, we're including portables too, because
Damn.
I mean, if we're doing portables, this is going to make it difficult.
Yeah,
So,
Wonder
well,
Swan's
This
got
is
it.
already difficult.
Wonder Swan's probably more obscure.
Yeah, this is the most obscure console game I have. It's a Pocket Guitar Freaks.
Wonder Swan.
All right, so if we're doing obscure handheld stuff, if we're counting that in, I've got a handful of games for Gizmondo. I think you have a lot.
Don't you have an R Zone too?
I have an R Zone. I've got a Memorex VIS, so I was gonna pick
Do the dance.
Secrets of Hasia Freeman.
Yes.
Hosea Freeman.
I've got a Puyo Puyo LCD thing too.
Oh yeah, I gave that to you.
One of those Puyo Puyos.
I think I gave that to somebody.
Yeah, I was going to say, Opie, it's not.
Wasn't me.
It's not within reach, but if I had it, I would go grab that Wordsworth that you gave me.
You did give me a Neo Geo related stuff.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Okay, sorry.
Which I love.
Oh, I gave Element. I gave him the Puyo Puyo handheld.
Yeah, I got mine in Japan. It was nice and minty, and it was like $10. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I gave it to him because it didn't have a battery cover. So
But, like, the condition wasn't that good, but the flavor was excellent.
straight up vanilla.
You know he's tasted those Switch games at least, though.
What do they taste like?
Poop.
Oh, I'm afraid.
Absolutely straight up Beatrix.
Is that made up, really?
No, honestly, they're not that bad, but you can tell that a lot of those reactions are super overblown.
What about Jeff?
no.
What about you, Jeff? Josh?
They are,
Me?
no, they are terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Michael
got-
McFlanderson.
They've got that Beatrix stuff on them to keep kids from jamming them in their mouth.
They are tiny. I wish the Nintendo Switch cases were a little smaller to fit the size of the little ABD cartridges.
I know. I wish they were squared. Like how cute
Like-
that
like-
would have been, right? If
Like
they were,
3DS games?
Like
Like
3DS.
square?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
it was weird because all the other ones, they seem to want to cut as much plastic out as possible. Like the 3DS one had the grid squares in the back, or like the
Yeah.
recycle symbol or whatever.
Oh, I got a Japanese lights out.
cool.
What's a Japanese lights out?
You ever played lights out?
Like
Oh,
a puzzle thing?
Dude, you like hit the lights and like the ones around it go on and off. And it's a puzzle. Yeah, like that. Oh, that's some good shit, dude. This is hidden gem territory. You wouldn't understand.
Cutie tiger.
All right, so did everybody go? Did everybody say what they thought their most obscure thing
Not
was?
you. Come on, Josh.
I said Card Fighters Clash on the Neo Geo Pocket Color, but if we were going to talk about like really obscure systems, I guess my PCFX would probably be the most obscure. And that for that, one of my favorite games on it, it's not necessarily like I don't know. Okay, well, Sparkling Feather, I would say, is a really fun game that you can play on the PCFX without much knowledge of Japanese, because it actually has a really
Sparkling?
Sparkling color?
Is it
Sparkling.
feather or is it sparkling?
I said Sparkling Feather.
Yeah.
I thought it was called. Or I'm thinking something else. I guess.
No, it's sparkling feather.
It is
Is
sparkling
it?
feather.
Sparkling Feather has a lot of anime cutscenes, tons of them, and then you
Sparkling father.
You
Like
watch-
any PCFX game ever.
yeah, well, you watch an anime cutscene and then you do a battle, and then you watch an anime cutscene and you do a battle, and the battles are like actually really easy to play through. You just have to like decently strategize and figure out how to heal.
It sounds kind of like Battle Heat, except way better.
No, Battle Heat is just all movies, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
I-
Battle Heat seems like it's like a guessing game combined with
Yeah.
rock paper scissors.
I have
get
the
it.
Senge Macchiao fighting game for the PCFX.
I was just
That
And
gonna
one's
that is
better
like
than
say.
Battle
Battle
Heat. That's
I
better
would
than
have
Battle Heat.
said that game was my favorite, except that it plays like absolute ass.
I have no
It's
idea how to play it.
It's so hard.
I've landed hits. I don't know how. I
So
have no idea how to play that game.
Looked at the manual, read the manual, and I'm like, okay. I put in the commands, and they sometimes come out, and sometimes they don't. And it's just like this weird game of chance.
Yeah, Sparkling Feather is more like you watch a 10-minute, well, maybe a 5 to 10-minute anime cutscene, and then you play a strategy war game similar to like Vandal Hearts.
Yeah.
And then you just keep going, and they're fun. It's fun. The battles are fun, and the music's good, and graphics are good, and the cutscenes look great. So it's fun. I like that one a lot. There's some real hidden gems on the PCFX.
Oh, look
I
at
don't know.
that.
I only have like 4 PCFX games.
Don't give him any ideas.
I think I'm up to 6 at this point.
6 hidden gems.
What?
What the fuck?
What
What's
is
that?
that?
That was-
I remember when
Quan made those.
that was the original idea for this. That was the original idea for the sticker when they had a contest for like what should the AES sticker on the multi game.
Wow.
Why?
I just found it because I found my Korean viewpoint.
Oh, did
Like the PC ones?
did Turfy
It's a
make that?
PC one. Say what?
Yeah, they made a bunch of those PC
Did
ports.
Turfy give that one to you?
No, I actually had it, and I was like, "Do you have this?" And he's like, yeah, I've had that." I'm like, "Okay, I was gonna give it to you."
Because yeah, every time he would send me something, he would send me weird stickers with it. Like I got one for
Yeah, he sent that with that. Yeah, he did.
I got the proto art for Mark of the Wolves 2. That's just that.
Oh, the clip art guy. I wish I had that. I don't have.
Shit, I think I might have that around here somewhere. He actually sent that to me on the case for Viewpoint for some reason.
Turfy. He's a legend.
He's a great dude, though. Absolute great dude.
I got to do this.
Half of us just jumped off of like Cam. Whoa, what is that?
Yeah, that's the clip art guy.
There you go. It's the clip art guy.
That's Boback from Neo Geo when he went missing.
Boback. I remember Boback. He came to Vegas many years ago.
You can still talk to him. He runs the college football subreddit.
I know. USC, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Is
he
he,
about football? So
He used to
I
do
still got
videos on
these
YouTube.
stickers.
He used to do videos on what the fuck is that?
Oh, DVD exploited. Dude, he went to the moon and there was no free stuff.
There wasn't any free stuff, so he had to come back.
rest in peace, Boback. Says Gohan.
Boback.
He used to do videos on YouTube ranting about Muppet sexuals, didn't he?
He was like the nicer of the mods.
He was
too.
he was probably the most like even keeled, which is
Yeah.
probably no surprise why
Thank
he
you.
didn't
He's a
stick
good guy.
around.
Didn't he leave and then come back as Arya or something like that? Or
He did. Well, yeah, Arya was his other name.
Yeah, then he left under that as well, and now I think he just does the football thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's been gone for years now.
wow, that's crazy. Speaking of people being gone forever, where's Aaron Nanto?
I don't know.
No,
He scammed me for $400.
I think that guy's mostly interested. I think he's mostly interested in Tesla.
Too soon.
What about 4K hamburger eating videos? That's a market, right?
All right, so Saru, why don't you tell us a little bit about the progress of our FX Unit Yuki, and I also want to hear the story about how you changed the name from Henshin Engine to FX Unit Yuki.
Why?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because some guy owned the word henshin. He had a company called Henshin Inc., and he trademarked that word. And so he sent us this thing saying, "Hey, I'm the owner of this thing," and blah blah blah. And he's like, "We can work something out if you want to like use the name." And he's like, "I do anime stuff and distribute stuff for Viz Video and blah blah blah." And I was like, "You know what? Fuck this shit." And we just did the paperwork to change it to FX Unit Yuki, which was the name that I was originally going to call it, but I had already started making stuff with the word Henshin Engine that I didn't want to go back to that. But with all that came up, it was the perfect excuse to change it to FX Unit Yuki.
So now, one thing that would have crossed my mind was just to fuck the guy over.
What?
We'll go.
Whoa.
Tweak, go ahead. Tweak, go ahead.
I was gonna say, dang, go. It's all good. I was just gonna ask Sarah if we still have some of the old Henshin promo materials. You know, what's this guy's address so I can mail him some stuff?
Yeah, there's still like demos and stuff.
Like I think I've got like the CD and like a postcard or something that says like coming soon. And like some banners and stuff. Yeah. 780 has like a huge banner. I was like, dude, I will copy it and mail it. That's the pettiest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. So we were like, fuck it. The only shitty thing about that whole situation is the legal monies, you know, because we had to pay to change everything over. But we probably would have paid more if we released it, and then this guy decided he wanted in, or he wanted a cut, or he wanted to sue, or whatever. Yeah. Because we used the name, so
they will sue.
Did you ever think about changing it to Rooster Shin Engine just to piss him off?
PC Henshin.
PC Henshin.
Why not?
We thought about Hentai Engine. We're gonna go with Hentai Engine. But how much you want to bet the word hentai is also trademarked?
Yeah, by Radical Reggie.
You ever thought about like just changing one letter or something like that, just to make it seem the same but different? Like
put a Z at the end.
Yeah. It's just FX Unit Yuki worked out.
I just went straight to changing it completely, so I didn't run into any trouble.
Okay. That's awesome.
Stay out of trouble.
And so the overall reception of the game in the communities has been overall positive?
For the most part. I mean, the game's not perfect. There's a lot of stuff that's weird.
I think it's really damn good, though.
And a lot of people pointed out the stuff that's like obviously like weird, you know, like some of the stairs are kind of weird.
That's so weird.
Castlevania stage, and just like leaps of faith in some areas. People didn't like those. All the stuff that was like obvious. But
they never played a Valis game, apparently, or Shibibi Man.
There's so many, right?
Or Ghost Banner.
Or literally any 80s game ever where all of them had leaps of faith because you couldn't draw the screen far enough in advance.
Dozens and dozens of PC Engine games. I mean, come on. So what's the future then? What's going on right now? Where are you at with like your next steps with this release? You said there's a Mega Drive version coming, but what any other versions?
Yeah.
I mean, PC and...
So Rover is working on the PC version still. So the PC version was supposed to be out already, but he decided he wanted to add stuff to it, which I'm completely okay with. There's one thing he doesn't want me to talk about that he's adding, but one of the things that it's going to differ from the other versions is that we took a bunch of stuff out that we couldn't fit into the PC Engine version. All that stuff is going back in. So like all the extra enemies that were supposed to be in like the Zapman stage and the Gods of Lightning stage, those will all be put back in.
Nice.
All the cutscenes will be like nice and clean art. It won't be all digitized because there's no like actual like limitation with that. And then there's the extra mode that Rover wants to put into. Oh, and then the Dreamcast version, obviously, yeah, Dreamcast version.
Dreamcast 2 version.
Dreamcast 2 version is
it's coming.
Right on the.
If you make it, they'll make the system.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
There you are.
Put the game out, and they gotta make it.
Just make it.
It's on you, dude.
Whatever architecture and.
You write the architecture
around.
Make it happen
around the game.
Just make it
build it. They will at games.
Make it for the micro consoles, and then everyone will have it.
Right.
So sorry. I mean, I hear there's supposed to be an art book with this version. Any truth to that?
So the art book is so I'm adding a bunch of stuff to the art book, and I know one of the reasons that I'm not releasing the art book just yet is because I'm trying to save money on shipping. So I'm trying to ship like a lot of the stuff together with like other releases. So people who got like the Mega Drive release and art book, treasure box, or whatever, right? We want to send that stuff with the game, especially like the international, because a lot of them were international shipped, and they changed the policy of how much it costs to ship stuff internationally in like January. So like it really
they don't
fucked
wear
us
deodorant over there.
Dude, international shipping with USPS is terrible.
Is horrible now, and it's like double. So we're pretty much we have to eat that because we can't be like, oh hey, by the way, in exchange, give us more money. You know, so we kind of
like, hi, I'm your friends. I want free shipping.
Yeah, so we're trying to get it so that like we can ship all these things at the same time to save on shipping.
Because the eBay Global Express program.
What?
Oh, dude, that program is so bad.
It was a bag of dicks.
It goes to like some centralized warehouse. They open it and make sure that it's what you're supposed to be sent, repack it, and send it to somebody else. And about half the time, you end up getting some completely random stuff because if you ordered anything good, your stuff's getting stolen.
See, only he remembers that shit. I remember that shit. It's terrible.
I never even heard of that, but that sounds terrible.
Dude, it's such a load of crap.
One other thing, Sorrow, it's worth noting is that did you hear that somebody had taken like a lot of the art and they had made their own pirated supplemental material? I believe it was called the Pirate Art Book.
Wow.
Dude, that was bad even for you.
And the setup
that was legendary. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Dude, that's a new low for Dragon Master Dan.
No, it's not a new loafer.
Yes, it is. It's like hitting rock bottom and then saying, "Screw it, I'm getting the jacket."
Trust me, he said dumber things. Trust me.
It's the perfect loafer. That's the perfect loafer. All right, so. Okay.
PlayStation 5.
What's next for Saru Studio after Henshin Engine dies down and the dust is settled?
I hear he's working on Cutie Cutie Tiger.
Cutie Tiger.
What is that? Is that a thing?
It is.
I don't know things.
Hold that game up again. Which game was it?
Yeah, Opie's got it. Opie's got it still.
Was that you, Ope? Can you hold that game up again?
Tiger Road. What?
Sounds like hentai. Is it hentai? I'm gonna assume it's Opie's. I'm assuming it's hentai.
You wish it was. It's just
you were holding up Cutie Tiger. Someone was holding up Cutie Tiger.
Oh, this?
Yeah,
say that name, Saru.
Kyoku.
Kyoku
Tiger.
Is it backwards, you guys? It looks backwards.
No, it was on the first. I said it to him, and he's saying that before the show, and he was saying it sounds like Cutie Tiger. It's something sorry.
Now I'm never gonna be able to hear that. It's gonna be Cutie Tiger now. So it's gonna be forever.
Cutie.
Tiger.
Age is forever.
Mm-hmm.
And several other Beat Boys songs.
But anyway, other than Yuki, we're working on Lucretia right now. So
I
back on pixel art for it.
Good.
And then I have another project down the line. Actually, kind of. I've already done. Well, I don't want to say too much, but I found another programmer who's going to be helping me with a separate project.
Is it Elmer?
No, it's not it's actually going to be for a Mega Drive game.
What the fuck?
Okay.
What?
People.
That's not the one I was supposed to help you with, and then wussed out on, is it?
Well, it's the game that you were supposed to help.
Oh, okay. Well, honestly,
I out on
the game looks good. The game looks good. I just lack commitment.
No, but actually, it works out though because the person who wants to do it is actually pretty good at what they do.
Oh, that hurts. Thank you.
Well, I mean, like their experience is what I'm saying.
Unlike you, the person who wants to do it has talent.
Like they've done this stuff before. I'm not trying to talk shit. I'm not a dick. Like
None taken.
But so we want to make like a kind of like a Snow Bros clone, like
Snow Bros
Bubble Bobble type game, but with like little ninja cats.
Bro Snow.
Samurai
I
Pizza
show
Cat.
you, but it's the tablet that I draw everything on is the tablet that I'm doing my YouTubes on.
Dude,
I can't show you artworks.
When he showed me the artwork for that, we talked about Samurai Pizza Cats like numerous times based on that.
Oh yeah, and then I had to order the set because you linked it to me. I was like, well, now I gotta buy it.
Cause it's great.
It is.
Every
super good.
episode is on there, and it's like $20.
It's so funny.
You see, I was going to guess you were going in a completely different direction. I was going to guess that you were going to do a hentai-based sequel to FX Unit Yuki for the PCFX called FXXX Unit Yuki. But no, you're going in a completely different direction.
I kind of want to make a digital novel out of that.
But then you can come back to that. It's like the triumphant return to form of, FX Unit Yuki, the porno game for PCFX.
Be perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds
You
perfect.
don't have saucy bits.
All right, we're hitting the final peak here. We got a couple more minutes left. In the chat, guys, thank you so much for being a part of the show this week. Got a lot of great communications and questions and all kinds of stuff to talk about here. Channy and X3002 and Gohan and who is it? It was Comrade Jared. Yeah, if you haven't checked his channel out yet, it's something I just kind of discovered either yesterday or the day before. He's got a lot of really awesome reviews and just information, and that's actually where the Polymega conversation started. Because he had done a Polymega video that was actually
Polymega's the closest you're gonna get to a Dreamcast too.
Yeah. Okay.
That's sad.
Hey, at least that's actually a thing.
The Polymega.
Polymega's a thing.
You know what? Let me dream, okay? Let me dream.
Let me Dreamcast.
Let me Dreamcast.
Well,
Look,
you can dream while
all
I'm
I'm-
playing my Neo Geo CD games on the
you can
Polymega.
play your Neo Geo CD games. All I'm saying is, let me have my
Enjoy
dream.
your load times.
I got
The load
Bowsette.
times are like super quick, man.
I got all that Bowsette art this week. Why can't I just reach another step further and hope for Dreamcast 2?
I'll
can
draw
play
you some.
mine.
I'll draw you some Bowsette.
Yes, you
Where's
will.
the Bowsette?
Yeah,
Where's the
that's awesome.
Bowsette hype?
I like that. I like that. We need more Bowsette chat. I can't believe we didn't even mention Bowsette.
I know, right? Now it's a footnote.
It is basically.
The loading times on the original Neo Geo CD, just so everyone knows, they were the worst kind of load until Metallica released their album.
Truth.
Hey, I like Load and Reload. I thought they were
No,
good.
you don't. No, you don't.
No.
Load and
Say
reload.
that, but you don't.
Wow, we're gonna go here. Load and reload are okay. Saint
Here we go.
is fucking
They're alright.
Saint Anger's the worst. Of them.
Saint
I got
Anger-
them for like $1
Saint
from
sounds
Columbia
like
House.
it was recorded in a garbage dump.
You're all
Like,
edge lords.
playing drums on the trash.
It was
Saint
the
Anger's.
best dollar I spent.
Was load and reload.
Yeah, it was like Columbia House.
You overpaid.
Dude, I got the cassettes of Load and Reload for they were a gift, and if it wasn't from my
What
mom,
kind of gift was this from?
it was
There
my
was somebody
it
who
was
hated
my-
him.
Was it like
obviously.
next to coal in a stocking? I mean,
So it was my mom trying to like do something
Aw,
nice because
that's-
it's like she means well, but it's
Yeah.
like you can't just be like, what the hell is this? 'Cause
Right.
the albums are terrible, but I'm like, I was like, thanks, Buck, 'cause
But no
it
thanks.
was like one of the few times where she actually legitimately put effort into trying to find a gift.
See what you did, Dan? You mentioned Load. We were talking about Neo Geo load times, and look what happened.
Metallica load and reload.
All
Yeah,
I'm saying is,
yes.
Back to Dan's thing. Dan, I played Last Blade just to see what the load times would be.
Oh.
Because that game's got the shittiest load times. And Last Blade on the Polymega was like, whoop, like it would go. It was
Had
quick.
missing frames and everything.
And-
Yeah,
Oh,
bar,
you
it
know,
was
and-
like, whoop,
now, you know,
and then
Last
that
Blade
sounded
is,
everything.
Last Blade is not the slowest loading game on the Neo Geo CD. Last
That's
Blade 2
two.
Yeah.
is even
Two.
worse.
It's like if you turn the demo cut off, I think it drops the load time from like 2 minutes down to 1.
But
Yeah.
it takes 4 minutes to get
Yeah.
the demo cut turned
Even on
off.
the CD, it's really bad. So I'm actually looking forward to being able to play like Neo Geo. I love the Neo Geo CD, man. It's so
You
cool.
can take
And the-
Neo Geo CD games and using a boot disc, you can play them on your Dreamcast, though, can't you? With better load times.
with what is it called? DC shit.
Neo CD to DC or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
really
man.
Or
Best DLCD
game
game.
off of.
The only one you need.
big tournament
That's
golf.
all you need.
I like my Magician Lord's pretty awesome on the Neo.
Yeah.
Scotland
Yeah.
course though.
I used to have Magician Lord.
Opie gave me his magician lord.
You could solve your problems of the Neo Geo CD by stop greedily using both kidneys, selling one, and getting into AES.
Actually, I have
Ooh, there you
bad
go.
kidney problems, so I only have kind of like one really good working kidney. And
Damn,
then
man.
Okay,
Hey,
maybe,
You can use get rid of
maybe,
the bad one.
maybe pick a different organ then. You know,
Yeah.
Liver's not so good either.
lungs. Maybe you don't need two of those.
That's true.
Just don't take up heavy smoking.
Just don't take up heavy smoking. And with that reminder, I would have
Just
to
like
say,
smoking.
everyone out there, please don't start smoking. And if you do smoke, try to stop smoking because it's bad for your health. For myself and Connor, Dan,
That's a booty hole.
Dan Hibiki, Sarumaru,
No, that's a valve.
our good friend Opie McStinkelstein. I'm Joshua.
Don't try to
Follow
shut us
Max
down.
Anderson.
Follow me on Twitter at _Joshua Turbo. Don't forget the underscore, as it is the most important underscore in all of the internet. Thank you guys so much for listening this week. Take it easy. We'll be back again next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 Eastern, for another Game Huggers podcast where we will talk about Sarumaru's
Say PlayStation 5 again.
PlayStation 5. All right. Maybe they'll just call it PlayStation Roku.
PlayStation.
Whoa, cease your libel, guys.
I know, right? You're gonna destroy the website.
The Turbo
Oh,
Troll.
what's that dark place?
Bye.
Dad? Let's never go there.
Bye bye.